You were not born insecure. You were trained to hesitate. Right now, someone less disciplined, less intelligent, and less capable than you is moving faster in life. They speak once. People listen. They enter rooms. Energy shifts. They take opportunities while you are still thinking, not because they are special, but because they stopped waiting for permission. Think about that for a second. Someone who doesn't have your talent, your knowledge, or your potential is out there winning. Why? Because they decided confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you choose to embody. You were taught to be polite, to explain yourself, to wait your turn, to be patient while others decide your future. But here's what nobody told you. The world does not reward patience. It rewards presence. It rewards control. It rewards people who move without asking. This video is not motivation. It is not positivity. It is not comfort. These are 8 ruthless lessons that remove hesitation, kill approval-seeking, and rebuild confidence from the inside out. And here's the part most people never understand. Confidence is not something you feel. It is something people feel around you. When you walk into a space and the conversation pauses, that's confidence. When you speak and people actually put their phones down, that's confidence. When you say no without explaining and nobody challenges you, that's confidence. It's not about you feeling brave. It's about them feeling your gravity. So, if you're tired of watching less deserving people take what should be yours, if you're done shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, if you're ready to stop asking and start taking, stay with me, because what comes next will either wake you up or make you uncomfortable. Either way, you needed to hear it. Number 1, presence is louder than words. Let me tell you something most people learn too late. Talking too much is a confession. It confesses insecurity. It confesses doubt. It confesses that you need validation from the person listening. People who talk too much reveal insecurity. They're trying to convince. They're trying to prove. They're trying to fill space because silence makes them panic. But people who pause, people who let silence sit, they control attention. Think about the last time you were in a meeting or a conversation with someone who had real authority. Did they rush to fill every gap? Did they stumble over their words trying to explain themselves? Not. They spoke when it mattered, and when they stopped talking, you waited. That's not an accident. That's strategy. Silence creates weight. It makes your words cost something. When everything you say is rare, people value it more. When you flood the room with explanations and justifications and nervous laughter, your words become noise. Confidence is not loud. It is uncomfortable calm. The person who can sit in a tense silence without flinching wins. The person who doesn't need to defend their position the second someone questions it wins. The person who can say something once and never repeat it wins. Here's what happens when you start doing this. People lean in. They watch you closer. They give you more respect without you demanding it because they sense something different. They sense control, and control is magnetic. When you speak less, others lean in. When you rush to fill silence, you give away power. So, practice this. Next conversation you have, cut your words in half. Say what matters, then stop. Don't add a qualifier. Don't soften it with a laugh. Don't explain unless asked. Just stop. Watch what happens. Watch how people's body language changes. Watch how they start asking you questions instead of talking over you. That shift, that's your presence becoming louder than your words. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Know when to be silent like the fox. Know when to speak like the lion, but never ever let fear choose for you." Write this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my strength. Number 2, never react first. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Read that again because this one lesson will save you from more mistakes than anything else in this video. Most people treat their emotions like obligations. Something makes them angry, so they snap. Something scares them, so they retreat. Something excites them, so they jump without looking. And that's exactly why they stay powerless. Reactions expose weakness. Every time you react immediately, you hand someone else the remote control to your nervous system. They press a button, you respond. They say something, you defend. They provoke, you explode. You're predictable. And predictable people are easy to manipulate. But control confuses opponents. When someone expects you to blow up and you stay calm, they lose their script. When they expect you to justify yourself and you just stare, they start second-guessing. Calm unnerves manipulators. Think about this. The person who stays still while others react becomes the center of gravity. Everyone else is spinning, shouting, panicking, and there you are unmoved. That contrast makes you the most powerful person in the room. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you delay them. You feel the anger, but you wait. You notice the fear, but you breathe. You recognize the urge to react and you pause. That pause is everything, because in that pause, you choose. You decide if this moment is worth your energy. You decide if this person deserves your reaction. You decide what move actually serves you. Confidence begins when your face does not match the chaos. Imagine being in an argument and the other person is red-faced, shouting, pointing fingers, and your face is still. Your voice is even. You're not ignoring them. You're just refusing to join them in their panic. Who looks stronger? Who looks like they're in control? The person who reacts first loses. The person who waits, watches, and then responds on their own terms, that person runs the room. So, next time someone tries to get a reaction out of you, whether it's disrespect, a test, or just chaos, don't give it to them. Let them perform. Let them exhaust themselves. You just stand there solid, unmoved. They'll respect you more than any comeback ever could have earned. Number 3, do not explain what you have not earned. This is the lesson that will cost you the most relationships and save you from the wrong ones. People who respect you do not need justification. People who disrespect you will not accept it. Let that sink in. You don't owe everyone an explanation. Actually, you don't owe most people an explanation. And every time you try to justify yourself to someone who already decided you're wrong, you're not communicating. You're begging. Explaining is often begging in disguise. Think about how many times you've tried to make someone understand your decision. You laid out the reasons. You gave context. You tried to make them see it from your side. And what happened? They still didn't agree. They still questioned you. They still made you feel like you had to defend your choice. That's because they were never confused about you. They were committed to misunderstanding you. Some people don't want clarity. They want control. They want you to keep explaining so they can keep questioning, because as long as you're explaining, you're on trial. And as long as you're on trial, they have power. Stop teaching people how to question you. When you make a decision, make it. When you set a boundary, set it. You don't need to write a thesis on why. You don't need to soften it with apologies. You don't need to prepare a defense for people who were never going to respect it anyway. Here's what confident people do. They state their position once. Then they move on. If someone asks why, they might give a short answer, but they don't perform. They don't audition for approval because they already approve themselves. And that's the shift. You stop seeking external validation and start operating from internal authority. You stop asking if your decisions make sense to others and start trusting that they make sense to you. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Let them see your decisions. Let them wonder about your reasons, but don't hand them the manual to your mind. Keep some things yours. The less you explain, the more weight your words carry. The less you justify, the more people assume you know something they don't. And they're right. You do. You know that your life is not a democracy. You know that respect is not earned through explanation. You know that confidence comes from owning your choices, not from getting permission for them. So the next time someone asks you to explain yourself and you don't feel like they've earned that access, don't. Just say, "I've made my decision," and let them sit with it. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Write this affirmation in the comments. My word is final. Number 4, control access to your inner world. Your plans are not public. Your fears are not entertainment. Your next move is not a group discussion. Most people leak their power without even knowing it. They share their goals before they've started. They announce their plans before they've committed. They tell everyone what they're scared of, what they're working on, what they're about to do, and then they wonder why nothing feels sacred anymore. Here's the truth. The less people know about your process, the more they respect your outcome. When you show up with results instead of promises, you look unstoppable. When you share the finished product instead of the rough draft, you look competent. When you keep your struggles private and your wins visible, you build a reputation that protects you. Mystery forces others to adjust. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to have it together. Do they tell you every doubt they have? Do they broadcast every setback? Do they narrate their entire journey in real time? No, they move quietly, they build privately, and when they're ready, they reveal. That's not dishonesty, that's strategy. Because when you share everything, you invite everyone's opinion. And opinions are cheap. Everybody's got one. Most of them are based on fear, projection, or jealousy. Your dreams are not strong enough to survive 1,000 doubts. Your confidence is not built to carry everyone's skepticism. So, protect it. Guard your inner world like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. This doesn't mean you can't have close people you trust. It means you're selective. It means you know the difference between sharing for connection and sharing for validation. One builds intimacy, the other kills momentum. Let your outcomes introduce you. Let your results do the talking. Confidence grows in private. It reveals itself in public. Write this affirmation in the comments. I move in silence. Number 5, become difficult to replace. Let's be honest about something most self-help advice won't tell you. Being nice does not protect you. Being needed does. You can be the kindest, most pleasant person in the room. You can smile. You can agree. You can never cause problems. And you can still get replaced, overlooked, or disrespected. Why? Because kindness without competence is just compliance. But when your competence solves problems others cannot, your confidence stops being emotional. It becomes factual. This is the shift nobody talks about. Most people think confidence is about affirmations and mindset and believing in yourself. And sure, that helps. But real unshakable confidence comes from knowing you're valuable because you deliver results. It's not arrogance, it's evidence. When you walk into a room and you know you can do something most people can't, you don't have to convince anyone you belong there. You just do. When you know your skills are rare, you don't worry about being liked. You focus on being effective. Results silence doubt faster than personality ever could. So stop trying to be irreplaceable through charm. Be irreplaceable through skill. Develop something you're better at than most people. Get so good at it that when your name comes up, people think of that skill first. Build a reputation where your work is the standard, not the exception. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." You don't need to be feared. You need to be respected. And respect comes from capability. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am irreplaceable. Number 6, remove the need to be liked. The need for approval keeps you predictable, and predictability keeps you weak. Not everyone is supposed to like you. When you remove the need to be liked, you become free. Free to set boundaries. Free to speak your truth. Free to make decisions based on what's right for you. Detachment makes your presence heavier. Desperation repels. Confidence attracts. Let people misunderstand you. Let them talk. You'll be too busy being yourself to care. Write this affirmation in the comments. I need no approval. Number 7, reduce emotional waste. Not everyone deserves access to your attention. Some people drain focus. Some conversations slow growth. Some relationships keep you small. Confident people protect their energy. This isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. Cut the waste, protect your peace, guard your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Number 8, move before you feel ready. You will never feel prepared. Confidence follows movement. Action creates belief. Those who act while uncertain become powerful. Those who wait become observers. Stop waiting. Start moving. Today. Not when it's perfect. Today. Because the version of you that's waiting to feel confident will never show up. The only version that matters is the one that moves. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are not here to explain yourself into respect. Real confidence is quiet. It is felt in your pauses, your boundaries, and your exits. You stop shrinking. You stop begging. You start walking. That ends now. Not because you feel ready, but because you decided to be. If you are done being controlled, hit that like button. If you are ready to become untouchable, subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not need permission anymore. Take what is yours.